Oh, someone has a milk pot. Okay, it was already tova. It was already dipped in the mikvah a long time ago. They got it from their parent. I don't know what the background to the story was, but they were tova already. They already dipped in the mikvah, and they're asking if they can change the milk pot to a meat pot. They want to use it's a metal pot. They want to use it for meat. So, what would be an issue with that? I mean, you can kosher pots, right? You put pots in boiling hot water. You remove any forbidden taste in it. But if there's like you cooked a pig on a pot, in a pot, sorry, and you kosher the pot, it's kosher. For Passover, the same thing. If you use chametz in the pot, you can kosher the pot and then use it for Passover. So you would assume that there won't be an issue with this, but there actually is. For Sephardim, there's not. There's not, but for Ashkenazim, there is. What's the reason? So in the 17th century, the Magen Avraham paskined that you can't change from meat to milk and milk to meat, because many people had like only one. He was afraid that people have only one set of dishes and they get them confused. Switching back every time from meat to milk and milk to meat, they would get them confused. So he paskined that you can't switch, even though technically you can, through the process of using hot water, removing the other taste from it. He says practically you cannot do it, and that's the accepted custom in the Ashkenazi community. So I asked her, what are your customs? Are you Sephardic or Ashkenazic? It's interesting because she grew up Sephardic, but her husband's Ashkenazic, and she does both. So I was like, I'm not getting involved with all that. But it's like, ask your rabbi. She's like, you're my rabbi. No, but anyway, but let's say, like, truth is, they're still working with that. Like, they're still figuring that out. But I said there are a few workarounds for Ashkenazim, and it will actually work for her. So if a few of them, and they're not just like, we're not just playing around with the law. There's a few laws which circumvent that issue of that you'd switch it back and forth. So one of them is if the pot was sitting for a year, maybe you've heard this one before. If the pot was sitting for a year, an extended period of time, which is a year, then we're not concerned with that reality that you get this confused with other pots that you keep switching back day to day. So if it's sat for a year, then you can transfer it from meat to milk or from milk to meat through koshering it. But if you didn't wait a year, even if you technically kosher it, you can't do it. You can't transfer from milk to meat or meat to milk. So you have to wait a year, and then you don't have the concern that you kind of constantly be switching it back and forth. Another way that people work around this is that they'll kosher it for Passover. You kosher for Passover. I wasn't koshering it for meat and milk. I wasn't getting involved with all that and getting confused between meat and milk. I was koshering for Passover. Now it's parv. Now it's not meat or milk. I just koshered it. I removed all the meat from it. I removed the chametz from it. Now I'm going to switch it to milk. That's like kind of like a workaround. Another way that some people work around this is that if you cook something unkosher on it, then you kosher the unkosher in it, and then it's parv. Then it's not meat or milk, and then change it to whatever you want. Use it for whatever you want. So the explanation behind that, like, find something unkosher to put on it, and then cook it with an unkosher thing, and then make it kosher, and then use it for meat or milk, whatever you want. So it turns out that after all this, she's like, oh yeah, I didn't use it for a year. So that's she's gonna kosher and use it.